Did you guys just get that national notification on your phone? I just did, so I'm going to make a video to get my mind off of those national tests. This video, we're going to show you how to make an R&B beat in FL Studio. The first thing is getting the right sounds. Now, this is from a third-party company called Roland. This is the Roland Xenology plugin. And in here, you click here, go to ePiano 1 or ePiano 2, and that's where I'm picking these sounds from. Okay, so we're starting with the ePianos first. This is called the FMEP2. Now, this chord type, I'll break it down in a second. We're at 64 BPM. Okay, so this is an F major ninth chord with an added sixth, which is a color tone. But the typical chord would be F, A, C, E, G. Okay, so F, A, C, E, G would be your ninth. But instead of playing the third, we're playing the sixth, which is a really key tone for R&B. So the sixth is 9 semitones up from your root note. So wherever you start, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's a color tone you can add to your chords for R&B. Let me go all the way back. Okay, so the question is, where do you go from here? That chord sounds cool, but where do you go from here? My ear wants to hear this. Okay, so I'm going to hit Shift, copy the entire chord, and we're just going to assume it's the same chord type. That sounds cool, but let's just see what the minor version of this chord would be. So again, what is minor? It's lowering the third and the seventh down, okay? So we're just going to lower this, the seventh down. Remember, to make this a major, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a major triad. 8, 9, 10, 11. That's a major 7, 12, 13, 14. So to convert this to a minor chord, we have to take the third and the seventh, pull it down one. Now, when you go to minor, however, the sixth, the major sixth and the minor seventh are too close. So we have to either pick one or the other, basically. Now, to me, the minor doesn't really have more feeling. Let's drop it to it doesn't really feel the same. So let's use the major because it just sounds better. So, okay, just let that ride. So let's do. Okay, so somewhere we need this F to be the top note. Let's copy this over. Maybe pull this chord over so that the top note is F. Okay, so we're just transposing that one chord. And that sixth allows us to move seamlessly without needing a bunch of chord changes. Let me record this little melody I have in my head. It's kind of reminding me of Marsha Ambrosius type melody. Okay, so pretty simple. Once you have that melody, you just lock it in. So the chords don't need to change much. It's really about the vibe that you're creating now. So once you have it here, it's just the vibe. Everything else is pretty much locked into the chord. So if you want more vibe, you could add reverb, chorus. Now you don't want to overdo it, because if you overdo it with the drums, it's going to take away the whole vibe. Let's just see if we can find some drums. Okay, I like these drums because it has that on the snare. It's just a little short snare. What was that called? Fillet. Let's take the raw drums because we're gonna have to process them. So let's right click. This is gonna get geeky, but open in Slice X. Okay, go to the regions tab, auto slice, medium auto slicing. So now we have each drum chopped up on a note that we could just type in. Hit Control L, send it to your mixer. So now we have to decide what drums are we going for. So do we need an open hi-hat? Okay, so let's start with the psst. We need the psst. If I could find a hi-hat. Okay, so here's the snare. So we're at 64 BPM. Okay, so we're gonna put the snare in the 2 and the 4. 1, 2, well, it's such a slow BPM. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we still need the hi-hat. Okay, here's one. Okay, so it's a little hard to kind of hear. We need a kick by itself. And then we need that kick with the open hi-hat on top. And then just repeat it. Okay, so keep in mind the snares have a hi-hat overlapping them, so you have to make the note short so it doesn't trigger the hi-hat. Now I like it at the end because it goes like that. And then just add that kick. Okay, so we're just gonna repeat that. Now I'm gonna quickly mix the drums. This is not a mixing video, so I'm not trying to like bore you to death. I'm gonna run them through a soft clipper to shave off the transients. And then we're gonna run it through an EQ to reshape it. Okay, and then you can muffle the drums with the low pass filter. The melody to reference. So as we're building the drums, and then we'll do the bass once we're done the drums. Okay, let's add an EQ. Shake these drums a little bit. Now what you could do is also separate your snare out. You just have to find your main snare. So let's figure out what. So it's this marker right here. Just zoom in. It's marker 18. You double click on it. Select your output. This is a plus value. So +1, or you could do -1. So in the mixer, what this means is now we're sending this sound to a different mixer slot than everything else. So I'm going to still route it to the drum mix, but now the snare is on its own mixer channel. So what I'm going to do is right click, route directly to the group again, but also send that snare to a reverb, so that we have a long tail type of vibe. I'm just gonna use a stock reverb because I don't feel like loading up a bunch of plugins. I know I'm moving quickly here, but this is just kind of arbitrary styling of the sound. So that snare reverb is important to this vibe. Now, if you don't like the kicks from the record, you could always layer that with a synth kick that has a little more vibe to it. So I'm going to get rid of this EQ because the snare's over here now. The cool part about your drums is if you print them out, you can actually stutter your drums so they repeat like that. So that's more of an arrangement thing more than it is a production thing. But if I'll kind of create that vibe. So every 4th bar, we're going to grab the loop, the drum MIDI, and hit shift to duplicate it over. And we want to stutter this 4 times. Okay, so let's hear it. Okay, so that's how you can create little turnarounds for your drums. And then if you want to make this a new pattern, just highlight this, hit Control G to group that into its own pattern. And then you could just hit Shift and move that around a lot easier. So what I'll do is I'll EQ going into the clipper just so it has more signal in the low end. So I'm reprioritizing at this point how the clipper responds to the drums. So I'm gonna push the kick a little bit harder through the soft clipper. To lower some of those snare volumes. So now you can hear the body coming back into the kick. We're boosting at 11 dB, so let's try 20. Now you really feel the kick. So that's a lot of dB to really feel that kick. And one of these samples has like a little hi-hat. I think it's the ending of this kick. So I'm just gonna shorten these so we don't hear the excess sounds on it. See, if we shorten the kick, you can feel the difference. So now it's like psh, psh, like that. Kind of want to shave the highs, so I'm trying not to get too deep into mixing, because we could be here forever. Now let's add the bass. And luckily the bass is pretty easy. We're going to use the Ample Bass P from Ample Sound. They have the best guitar emulations I've used, and this is really good. So also Trillion's really good for bass guitar. So all we're going to do is just figure out. Just decide, do you want to play the root note, aka with, you know, of the chords, or do you want to play, or the, what is this, the fifth? Okay, so let's see what sounds cooler. That's the fifth, play middle C. So I think playing, so let's just kind of go by ear. And then I'll play the octaves. So I'm keeping the bass simple. We could always make it complicated. 1, 2, 3. So I'm playing the fifth. And repeat. Oh, there I messed up. Okay, so let's fix those notes. Okay, because I'm not locked to a scale, so I was just kind of playing whatever's on my keyboard. Let's hit Alt Q. So again, we're starting off on the fifth. So let me move this over to the chord progression so you can see the notes. So the bass is playing the fifth, and then we're playing the second of that chord, then we're playing the fifth again, then we're playing, what is this here? F sharp would be, I forget what chord that is, so forgive me there. And then the second again. And then we're playing octaves at the end of the fifth. Now I could go doom doom. And then we're doing a half step walk up. Okay, my brain. Never mind, it's not a half step. My brain heard it tone differently. Now what you could do is do like that. Let's move this to a different pattern because we ran out of space on the bass. But I was just showing you the correlation for the notes. Now I want to go dun, dun, and then we want to do dun, and then back down. So I'm going to show you how to do a pitch bend. If you don't have a MIDI controller plugged up, go to your bottom left where it says control. You're going to go to note, find pitch. Okay, I believe this is the one. I haven't used this in so long. Or it could be channel pitch. Let's figure out which one it is. No, it's not note, find pitch. It is note, channel pitch. Okay, because find pitch is for per the actual MIDI note. This is like a pitch bend effect. So whenever you mess up, just hit Alt. Actually hit Shift and then line it back up. Okay, so it's a little quirky here because there's no Alt. Let me see if I hit Alt Shift. Usually when you hit Alt and you left click, it resets. But for this information, you have to like read the value in the top left to see how far you are off in pitch values. That's why I don't use this too much because it's a little janky. Okay. And now I'm going to create a pitch bend on this note here from C. We need to zoom out a little bit. Again, it's kind of hard to read, but here in the value in the top right, in the top left, you could actually see. So it's kind of hard to measure one. So 100 cents is one semitone. Okay, this doesn't even want to work. I stand corrected. It doesn't. Oh, I'm on the wrong instrument. That's why. Okay, that's why it didn't work. Let me control Z because I was messing around with so much stuff. Okay, let's do this again. Boom. Now, if this doesn't work, then we're just whatever. All right, this plugin doesn't respond to this, unfortunately. Let me exaggerate to triple check, make sure it's... Okay, it does work. It's just the pitch bend has to be kind of extreme. So this is weird because 600 cents, this would sound way different. But here it goes like that. So we just want to go up and then back down in pitch. And then again, go back to 0 and hit Shift, left click. It's kind of subtle, so I'll exaggerate. So it goes like that. So that's how you make your stuff sound more realistic. My bad on the values aren't matching the actual tone, so that's the little weird part. But so all of these increments seem to be the noticeable pitch bends. And just make sure again, let me up the buffer length, hold up. And just make sure that you go back to your channel pitch and then make sure it's at 0 before you hit the rest of the notes because I'll be out of key. So again, it's at 0 cents, hit Shift, left click to reset. Not the easiest way to do a pitch bend, but. Let's add some auto-tune to my vocal. Somehow this is the beta version of FL, so everything's all jacked up. But on Waves Vocal Bender, you could actually add that formant filter to your vocal. Take out the drums. Drums are like doing too much. if you wanted to, you could add a lead in here. It would be a little tedious here, but you could go in and add a lead in Xenology. I would recommend just finding the key. I forgot what key we're writing. I think it's F major. So let's just assume the key is F major. I would go into the typing keyboard, right click on F, right click on major. And then you could either do major or major pentatonic. I'm going to turn off some of these plugins so I could actually play this in real time. All right, so if there's clicking and crackling, I might have to turn off some plugins because the plugins add delay. So now that we're locked into the F major scale, you can use your typing keyboard. Okay, to play the leads. Now Xenology is really good for this. So you can go to synth leads and just go through the synth leads until you find like an RBC. I need that half step on there. So that's why sometimes I like to not lock it to the scale because you want to hit half steps. Okay, so I don't know how to load up all the leads to where you could just click in here and then just go through these one by one. You know, I would think it would be like that, but it's not. So you got to manually keep going back and forth. Kind of tedious. Let's see if I ranked some of these. I didn't rank them. Okay. I don't think we're in F major. Let's figure out what key we're in firstly. So I use Scalar whenever I'm trying to figure out what key I'm in. This plugins, it's gonna be hard to play in real time. Let me up the buffer length. Okay. So you just plug in the notes. We're in the key of C minor. Okay, not F major. It's F Dorian. Okay, so what we're gonna do is right click on C, go to minor, natural, or you could do minor pentatonic, or you could do blues. Okay, so you can try all those. Now just pick out your lead sound. Okay, you can just add that in the background. That texture in the background. So there's no right or wrong thing. It's not going to do it here because the video will lag, but a lead sound could fit in here. So let's play it one more time and you will get the project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory. So that's how you make R&B step by step in FL Studio. If you want these project files for free, go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory. Peace out, guys.